Hey guys, if you haven't noticed yet, I'm not going to be able to make our meeting today. I was double booked with a all administrator meeting at East Hartford High School, but you know me, I'm a math guy. I would much rather be with you at the middle school talking about math, math instruction, and really learning from the presentations you have today. To that end, what I'd like you to do is to email me the PowerPoints that you are presenting, the two groups that are presenting today. If you feel comfortable with it, you could have someone use a phone and video record the presentations and send those to me afterwards. I'd love to see them. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. Just send me the PowerPoints, I'll read through them, and I'll email you questions as I have them. But I wanted to talk about why we're doing these presentations, why I pulled out that rubric and that whole thing. And there's really two big reasons. The first one is to develop a common language. I know that some of us know some of the words that were on that rubric, and some of us know all of the words that were on the rubric, but we may not have a common definition for what all those things mean. For example, it's important that we know what focus, coherence, and rigor is, and how those appear in a curriculum. It's important that we know the difference between conceptual, procedural, and application, and how to balance those in a classroom. It's important that we know what an anchor chart is, right? All these little things. And that'll help us have conversations, whether it's just me and one of you, whether it's with each other, whether it's in IDTs, whether it's our whole middle school department, or whether it's as a 612 district. The second reason is to have more discussions about instruction. So in our IDTs right now, we do a great job of collaborating on materials. Every IDT I've been in has done a great job of working together to create things like an assessment that we're going to use at the end of a unit, or a common activity that we're all going to do next Tuesday, and then debriefing that. All of that has been great. What I'd also like to do is to begin to collaborate more on instruction, the pedagogy and those nuances that occur between the two bells of each of your classes. So to do that, we're going to do a few things. First, we're going to take the rubric I gave you, and we're not going to use it as a whole rubric, probably ever. We're going to take that rubric and break it up into pieces. I believe there's 5 different sections of it, so we'll break it up into at least five different sections to use independently, and perhaps we could even use more. Next, we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everyone in the department has a peer, another teacher, that they can talk to about instruction, that they can reflect with. Some districts call this critical friends, some districts call this peer coaching, some districts call this the buddy system. But whatever you call it, making sure you have at least one teacher that you can talk to about instruction, that you can reflect with, and we'll make sure that those pairings are comfortable for everyone. So we've got the rubric in pieces, we've got a kind of peers, buddy system, whatever you want to call it. So what do we do with that? Next, at the beginning of next year, and we could pilot this year if people are interested, but at the beginning of next year, when you're thinking about your performance and practice goals, that part of the evaluation that doesn't actually have a percentage attached to it, think about what you would like to improve on instruction-wise during the next year. Are we looking at maybe your classroom environment and what's on the walls? Are we looking at how kids are grouped? Are we looking at transitions, how kids enter the classroom, warm-ups, exit slips, how you give directions? It could be anything, but something that you personally think that I'd like to grow on. And throughout the year, we will have your peer, your buddy, whatever you want to call it, come to your classroom and stay for a little bit and use just the part of the rubric that you want them to use. You're going to choose which part of the rubric they use. You're going to choose what kind of feedback you get and what the feedback is on, the focus area, if you will. And then they'll, on a kind of one-on-one conversation, I don't even have to be there, have a conversation about that. And you'll do the same with them. So you'll be able to go back and forth and do that. I know in the past we've done kind of peer observations where an entire IDT has gone to another teacher's room to observe something that they're interested in. Perhaps the whole 7th grade IDT goes to someone's room to observe maybe transitions, and then you have a conversation afterwards and you'll debrief. And we can continue to do those kinds of things. I think those are really valuable. But one thing that I really want to convey is that we all have something to share. We're all really great at something. We all have a unique perspective. We all come from different places, have different experiences, different places we went to school, different schools we've worked at, different years we've been here, and we all have something to learn. right? And so I want to honor that, and I want to not just go have everyone go observe one teacher, but I want us all to be sharing and all to get feedback from each other, but someone we feel comfortable getting feedback from. And so this is, of course, not set in stone, so I'd love your feedback on this idea. I've done this at schools previously, although not just like this. I've talked to some teachers between our last meeting and this meeting to tweak it and to really make it work for us at East Hartford. And so I'd continue to welcome your feedback and get some ideas in person tomorrow when we meet. So good luck on the presentations. Like I said, send me the PowerPoint, or if you feel comfortable videotaping, you can do that as well. At the end of those two presentations, if you could use the links in the email I sent you to check course recommendations. So I think everyone at the middle school and Dawn at Sunset has recommendations to check, whether it's recommendations going into the high school or the middle school recommendations for honors and for intervention courses. Check those out. Is there anything you disagree with? Highlight them and provide a little rationale. And tomorrow we will all be at East Hartford High School, 1 o'clock, 1 to 3, for a PD session 612. What we'll be doing is we'll be looking again at some different vendors for the Illustrative Math program, because while we will be using IM next year as our main resource, there's 4 different vendors that sell things. We've already looked at some of the books, but 2 of the vendors have online offerings, and I know that some of us use the online offerings through Envisions right now pretty heavily, and some through Springboard, and so I want to make sure that we have those available to people. So you will have basically, it's not a training, but it's almost like a pitch or a demo from one of the vendors, Learn Zillion, as to how they kind of interpret the illustrative math curriculum and how they've made an online platform for it. And then again, we'll get some feedback afterwards as to whether you think this is a good direction for us to go. Because if we're going to spend money on something, I don't want that to be a unilateral decision. I want us all to be part of that decision. And then finally, at the end of that 1 to 3 PD session at the high school, we will talk about end of year meetings and those logistics there. So I hope that you get something out of today's presentations. I hope you get a lot out of them. And if you have any questions, drop me an email. I'll see you guys tomorrow.